Hey, what's going on, y'all? Friday, December 26th, 2018. It's 2018. It's 2018. Can you believe that? It's 2018. No time to waste. Time is ticking and it won't wait for anybody. I want to talk today about being self employed as an Uber driver, or a Lyft driver, or a rideshare driver, or a private driver, or being a business owner in rideshare versus being an employee. So I would say a good portion of the feedback that I get from the YouTube community on this channel is from people who are not entrepreneurs, who are not self-employed people, who are not business owners. And when they see my videos on rideshare, whether it's about driving for Uber or driving for Lyft or driving any other kind of way, the rideshare business is something that I talk about over and over and over again. Hashtag rideshare daily. This is episode 61, and I get a lot of people that do not understand what I'm talking about when I say rideshare business, that I'm a business owner. And the reason for that is the vast majority of the population in the U.S. and probably around the world, I would say the vast majority of people who work in a employee category. They work in an employee role. Most people are not employers, and most people are not self-employed. I would say most people are employees, meaning they work for someone else. So maybe you're watching this video and you work for somebody else. That's fine. But I get a lot of people, shout out to Cane's on their sweet tea, Raising Cane's chicken. If you're down south, you know about that. But I get a lot of people who make comments on expenses and taxes coming out of the revenue or the earnings or the profits made, the income produced through rideshare. And from those comments, it's interesting to me the kind of mentality that a lot of people have who are employees and don't understand what it is to be self-employed or a business owner. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and I'll try to do it briefly and not take too much time. I'm going to try to simplify things as simply as I can. So if you are self-employed, you depend on yourself, your own efforts, your own earnings, producing your own income to live. If you are an employee, you are depending upon somebody else to write a check to you in exchange for your production, in exchange for your time, in exchange for your labor, in exchange for your skills or your experience, working on their behalf, not on your behalf, on their behalf. You represent them, their company, and you don't own that company, and you don't control that company. You may be a manager within the company, but the company is not yours. And even if you do have a small ownership stake, it's not a controlling interest in the company. You're not a business owner, right? Versus a business owner owns a company and has people work for them to produce for them. Now, a business owner can work in their company or may not do any work in their company and just has other people do the work for them. So there's different kinds of business owners. There's business owners who own a stake in a company. Maybe they own stock, maybe they own shares in a company, and they may or may not work in that company. And then there's business owners who are majority owners. Maybe they have a partner in their business, and they own most of the company. It's their company. And then there are business owners who are sole owners of the company, where they own the company, they make all the decisions in the company, etc. So when you talk about rideshare, I think it's important for people to understand when they watch my videos, I am not an employee of Uber or of Lyft or of any rideshare company. I do not work for Uber or Lyft or any rideshare company. And so we'll start with benefits, right? Because that's a big thing for employees. Employees have a mindset that they want somebody to provide them with benefits in exchange for their employment. So they want a company to give them maybe life insurance, maybe health insurance, maybe vacation, maybe sick days, maybe disability benefits, those kind of things, right? So an employee has a mindset that if I go to work for this company, company A, let's call it, or for this employer, maybe it's a small business, then in exchange, they're going to pay me my wages or my salary or my commissions and provide me with a benefits package as part of my compensation for my time, my energy, my efforts, etc., right? A self-employed person is not looking for anybody to provide that for them, because a self-employed person is self-reliant. A self-employed person, if they want life insurance or they want health insurance or they want vacation or they want sick days or whatever, a self-employed person looks to themselves to provide those things for themselves. And a business owner usually is in a position where they may be in a position where they're providing those things to their employees if they have employees. Let's be very, very clear about this. Many people, and I would say most people who become Uber drivers or Lyft drivers are very, very part-time drivers. They're in the rideshare game, the rideshare industry, the rideshare business as part-time drivers. And many of them are self-employed elsewhere or they're employed elsewhere. And some are even business owners elsewhere outside of rideshare. It's a really important distinction to make. The reason why is, when you are an employee and you drive Uber part-time or you drive Lyft part-time or you drive for some other company part-time, you're bringing an employee's mentality into Uber or Lyft, etc. as a partner or as a driver. And when you do that, if you expect somebody else to write you a check, somebody else to provide you with benefits, somebody else to do that, you have to understand that Uber doesn't offer employment to drivers, and Lyft doesn't offer employment to drivers. That's not what they offer. What they offer is a technology partnership to independent contractors, to drivers. So it's kind of annoying and it's somewhat frustrating at times when I see other Uber drivers talk about Uber or other Lyft drivers talk about Lyft or other rideshare drivers for any company out there talk about rideshare with a mentality of an employee and expectations of employment for this position, being a driver. And the reason why is because Uber's business model, Lyft's business model, Juno or any other company out there, their business model, whatever other rideshare companies are out there, their business model for the most part is not a business model where they're hiring drivers as employees. They don't offer that. So if you bring that expectation and that kind of mindset into this, you're thinking about the whole rideshare game the wrong way. It's important for you to understand that as a driver in rideshare, you are signing up to be self-employed or to be a business owner or both. You are not signing up to be an employee. It's a super important distinction to understand. Uber doesn't hire drivers. Lyft doesn't hire drivers. Most of y'all don't understand that or get that. When you sign up, you register to become an Uber partner or to become a Lyft driver. You never interview for employment. Nobody's going to interview you. What you're doing is you're setting forth the mandated requirements that the company expects drivers to meet, to see whether or not you meet those. And then once you're approved, if you meet those requirements, then they will activate you as a driver so that you can partner with their company to use their platform as a driver. The same thing happens with riders. When riders sign up with Uber or riders sign up with Lyft to be a passenger or a rider, they have to meet certain criteria, certain qualifications, including providing their name, their email address, maybe their full address, maybe their social security number, a debit card or credit card number, etc. And they have to agree to the terms and conditions of the terms of use policies on that technology platform, right? For a driver, it's no different. It's just different requirements. So when you download the Uber app to become a rider or a passenger, or you download the Uber app, the Uber partner app to become a driver, you're doing the exact same thing. You're saying to Uber, I would like to use your app, your technology. That's it. And either they approve you or they don't approve you. What you do with it from there is up to you. Nobody's writing you any checks. Nobody's hiring you. They're not interviewing you. There's no promotions. There's no upgrades. You're not going to get a raise. There's no benefits. There's none of that, because Uber's not offering employment to drivers, and Lyft doesn't either. What they offer is the opportunity to use their technology. That's it. So it's important when people watch these videos that they understand what they're actually signing up to do. When you register, you're signing up either to use the platform as a rider or passenger, or to use the platform as a driver, period. Once you're approved to do that, you're free to do that. So when people watch my videos and they say, yeah, but what about taxes? Yeah, but what about expenses? Yeah, but what about this? Yeah, but what about that? I want you to understand something. For every business owner or every self-employed person, there is a cost of doing business. It takes some money to make some money. In this business, it takes a vehicle also to make some money. Every vehicle operator, owner or operator, has expenses, whether they drive for a rideshare company or not, whether they partner with a rideshare company or not, whether they use a rideshare app or not. Everybody that drives a vehicle has expenses. Those expenses don't change when you become a rideshare driver. The only difference is the more you drive, the more expenses you'll have. That's it. So whenever people say, yeah, but what about taxes? One thing that is interesting to me is most of the people that look at self-employment tax as a hindrance to becoming a rideshare driver, or as a bad thing or a negative thing, aren't self-employed and have never filed taxes as a self-employed person. or have filed taxes as a self-employed person in the past and maybe didn't know how to take advantage of the tax code in order to itemize their deductions and minimize their taxable revenue in their self-employment, sole proprietorship, or LLC, or business. So you have corporate taxes, you have self-employment taxes, you have individual income taxes. They have to be paid no matter what. So if you work for, let's say, a bank, you work for Bank ABC, when they say you make $40,000 a year, that's before tax too. Just like if I say, as a rideshare driver, let's say I make $80,000 a year, or I make $100,000 a year, or I make $60,000 a year, that's revenue. That's earnings. That's before tax. That's before expenses. But it's the same thing with your family, your friends, or anybody that you know, including yourself if you're an employee. If you work for a company and you say, I get paid $80,000 a year, or $100,000 a year, or $60,000 a year, or $25,000 a year, or $40,000. You're saying what the company is going to pay you up front before taxes, before Social Security, before FICA, before your health insurance is taken out, before anything else is taken out of that check. It's the same thing. The difference is the tax code is different for different people. So different kinds of income are taxed differently based on the tax code. So I'll say this about the rideshare business. I'm not afraid of a self-employment tax. I'm not afraid of expenses. I'm not afraid of gas or wear and tear or having to buy new tires or vacuuming out my car or paying for car washes or any of those things. Those things don't bother me in the least. They don't deter me in the least. I'm not afraid of those things in the least because I have the expectation as a rideshare driver of being a self-employed person in my vehicle. Now, when I say that I have a rideshare business, that's because I take the technology of Uber and Lyft and the opportunity that they offer, and I extend that beyond being behind the wheel, earning fares and tips. Meaning I use this opportunity to earn other kinds of income that's not directly related to me driving. Whether it's through referrals, local sponsorships, ads, partnerships, affiliate commissions, etc., or subsequent business developed out of a relationship with my riders or passengers. Those are all other revenue streams that are not related to driving, that are readily available every single day in this business. So when I say I have a business, I'm not talking about even driving for fares. That's self-employment. But I have income in this rideshare business beyond that. And so my expectation is that it takes some of my money for me to make more money. And I'm totally okay with that every single day of the week. Because if it takes me $30 or $50 to make $200, I'm good with that. If it takes me $30 or $50 to make $300, I'm good with that. If it takes me $100 to make $1,000, I'm good with that. I will pay it every single day. So if you're the kind of person that has an employee mentality, meaning that you want somebody else to cut your check, you want somebody else to decide how much you make, you want somebody else to decide when you can go on vacation, or whether or not you can stay home sick, or whether or not you have health insurance and how much that health insurance is going to cost, or whether or not you have life insurance and how much that life insurance is going to cost. If you want somebody else to decide that because you're comfortable with being an employee and you like that arrangement, that's okay. But for you, it might be difficult to put any money out in order to bring money in because you're not used to having to invest in yourself or your own business, or at least you don't have the mindset that you do that. The reality is that you do it every day, whether you pay a mortgage or you pay rent or you pay utilities or you pay for internet or you pay for your phone or you pay for your television, your cable, your Wi-Fi, your Netflix subscription, your Hulu subscription, your vacations, your whatever. At all times, you're investing in yourself. Whether or not you're getting a great return on that investment, I don't know. And whether or not you're measuring that return on that investment and increasing and improving that return on that investment, I don't know. And whether or not you realize that you're doing that, I don't know. But what I do know is that as a business owner and a self-employed person, I have the expectation in my mind that it costs something every single day. It costs me something to go out and produce more. I invest in myself and in my own business and in my rideshare business and my rideshare self-employment. I invest in this to make money for me and for my family, and to expand into other areas of income producing activities for my future. I'm totally okay with that. I'm more than okay with that. I love that, because I'd rather rely on me than rely on somebody else. I've worked for Fortune 100 companies, I've worked for Fortune 500 companies, and I've worked for small businesses and medium-sized businesses. I grew up in a household of employees that worked for the government and in the military, and worked for other companies, and had the mindset, the mentality, and the expectation of getting a paycheck from somebody else, and getting benefits from somebody else, and getting health insurance from somebody else, and getting life insurance and everything else from somebody else. That was the expectation, the mentality, etc. But that was never for me. That was never something that made sense to me. It was never something that, as an adult, I felt was the right thing that fit me. For me, rather than relying on somebody else to set the bar for me, to let me know how much they're willing to pay me, I would rather go out and get it myself. I would rather go out and produce myself. In my business, there is no income limit. There's no waiting a year for a raise. I can give myself a raise today. I can give myself a raise again tomorrow. I can give myself a raise next week, next month, next year. I can keep giving myself raises, and that's my intention and my plan and my goal. So for me, rideshare, I'm using this self-employment and the business of rideshare to get into other investments and other businesses that would take me above and beyond where I could ever go as an employee. And it's okay for you to be an employee. I don't have any problems with any rideshare drivers being employees. I just want to explain there's a difference both in the function, the operation, the role, and the responsibilities of an employed person versus a self-employed person and a business owner. And the way that those people think and the types of income that those people earn, they're different. So if you're going to be a rideshare driver, even if you're only doing it part-time, understand you're not an employee. So it doesn't work like that. You're going to have to put something into it to get something out of it. Hopefully that makes sense for y'all. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I got tons more videos coming at you. Also, I do have a free video training course coming out in the month of February 2018. If you haven't signed up, it's absolutely free. No credit card information, no personal information, just your name and email address. Sign up. The link is in the description. If you are a self-employed person, or you want to be, or you are a business owner or an entrepreneur or somebody that wants to be, and you're interested in the rideshare business, you're interested in learning this business and getting into it, sign up for that free video training course. Also, my links and codes are below to sign up to get a new driver sign-on bonus or cash guarantee with Uber or with Lyft. You could even sign up for both if you want. Those are in the description below as well. So if you have questions, comments, like, share, put the word out there. Let people know what this actually is. That's what I try to do day in and day out on my channel. So I love the feedback and the comments and stuff that I get from people, but I just want people to understand, as a Uber driver or as a Lyft driver or working as a driver in any rideshare company or a private driver, you are not a taxi driver. You don't work for the union, and you're also not an employee. You work for yourself. So, and you can take it and make it whatever you want it to be. You can have multiple streams of income, or you can just drive for fares and tips. That's up to you. You can take this and make this extra 10 grand a year, or you can take this and make this a 6-figure business. It really is up to you. The limit depends on what kind of work, what kind of time, what kind of investment, what kind of energy, what kind of effort you're willing to put into it. So I wish you all great success today. Share this video with other people. Let them know what's going on. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Peace. I'm out.